Welcome to another edition of Bedhead Diaries. Today we're going to be talking about how to improve your intuition and your entire body as a psychic instrument.
Oh.
Now that we've got you here, welcome to another edition of Bedhead Diaries with your hosts, Heather and David and Coffee Cup.
It's my geisha one today. Valentine's Day coffee cup. So we get so many variations of this question, but to sum it all up, it's how do I improve my intuition? How do I know what my gifts are?
Oh, Heather, tell me, how do we do this?
Well, first it's understanding what kind of car you're driving. Are you driving a stick shift or an automatic?
I'm driving a Maserati.
I wish. So
Actually, Lamborghini.
Okay, well, you go in your car. Just work on that
Anyway,
image. Okay, so
psychic gifts.
We hear, am I clairvoyant? People hear these terms. This person is clairvoyant. They see images. This is clairsentience. This is clairaudience, and people are like, I don't know, which one am I? And what they're talking about is there are 5 psychic senses. And when somebody says, well, I'm clairvoyant, it doesn't mean they only receive information through.
That doesn't mean that people just see.
It just means that's the one that seems to pop out for them the most often.
They maybe drive a stick.
Huh?
The one talking about cars before.
Yeah, I know now. I'm talking cars, and you went off into Boyland.
I went to cars.
Carland.
Okay.
Okay, so let's backtrack a little.
So this is us backtracking.
So we're backtracking. You have 5 basic senses in your body.
Right.
You have much more than that.
And actually there was a study done that actually goes into more than your 5 senses. So the human body as an instrument has more than 5 primary senses, but 5 are your primary. Today we're just going to be talking about the 5 main senses.
Keeping it simple.
Yep.
So just like you have your 5 human physical senses, you have 5 corresponding psychic senses. So just like you might walk into a room, you don't just see and then switch over to what does it feel like. You kind of use all your senses at once. At the same time, you're seeing the room, you're smelling the room, you're feeling how hot or how cold it is.
All of your senses are working together, integrated.
As a unit.
G-unit.
Huh?
Oh,
What?
never mind.
The same
Anyway.
thing. The same thing applies to your psychic senses. They work together.
Was the DJ and me just going off?
He just does that. So you've got to start thinking of your entire body
as an instrument.
As your psychic instrument.
This goes beyond psychic senses. Your body itself is a massively complex instrument using all kinds of different sensors. And today we're talking about how to use all of those sensors in a psychic way.
But the thing is, they do cross over.
Absolutely.
Receiving psychic information or intuitive information in a physical instrument. So a lot of times these senses cross over, and you may not even. You've probably been receiving intuitive psychic information your entire life.
You have, definitely.
I know you have.
It's not
but
probably.
You've just dismissed it because haven't been paying attention to.
Yes.
It's subtle. So
to what you're already doing.
Yes. Now we got to tell them how.
How?
So in the simplest way, when you're learning how to use your gifts in your body as a psychic instrument, there's a practice that we call sitting for intuitive development or meditation for intuitive or psychic development or mediumship development.
Basically, all you're doing is sitting for 5 minutes focused on the intention of developing your gifts. 1 sense at a time. All it takes is 5 minutes. You don't want to make it any more complicated than that. You don't want to make it any longer than that in the beginning.
Seems like a really simple practice and boring maybe at first, but it takes patience because you're talking about subtle information. So you're going to sit. So sitting for intuitive development is a little bit different than just meditating, where you lose the mind, you just kind of drift off and float. This is different.
So this is meditation with a purpose.
You're sitting with the intention of, I'm paying attention to what I'm seeing. I'm paying attention to what I'm hearing.
So when we're talking about 5 minutes, we're talking about 5 minutes to just cycle through your senses. Not 5 minutes per sense, but 5 minutes total.
Pay attention to how you feel. You might want to start at your toes and go up your ankles and your legs and go through your whole body and see what sensations you're feeling. What you're doing is you're kind of sending a signal out to the information, let's say, that your body is listening and ready to receive information. But you can't receive it unless you know what those channels all feel like when they're in a normal state.
Right.
And then you have to know what it feels like when something different happens.
Right.
And pay attention to that sense.
What you're doing is you're establishing your baseline of what each of your senses feels like in their normal resting state. So that when something changes, you get this cue from your subconscious because you've set the intention that something has changed, so you might want to pay attention to it.
What you're also doing is you're learning how
to boogie.
That's not what I was going to say. Okay.
It doesn't matter.
It's a David
boogie
moment.
time.
It's David time. It's David music moment. Do you need some backup?
My senses were telling me it was boogie time.
You're learning how.
I am.
Yeah. You're learning how to toggle back and forth between your senses. In other words, you're learning
different dance moves.
You're learning to control your gifts instead of them just opening one day and a lot of people will their psychic senses, some kind of event will happen, like a body trauma sometimes can open up a psychic sense. And then they're open and it's all this information and it'll just open and they will like, how do I control it? It's too much.
It's kind of like being on Dancing with the Stars and you've never danced in your life.
Right. So if you practice building the foundation of your life,
learning how to
live
dance.
Your life, the foundation of your life,
yes.
of your psychic practice, you are controlling how information comes.
It's really controlling it.
No, you're building a foundation for which your gifts to.
You're learning how to move.
Yeah.
You're learning how to dance, basically. By the time you do get to Dancing with the Stars, you know some moves.
So basically you're learning by doing this simple practice, you're learning where the switches are, how to turn it on and off. You might even
be Napoleon Dynamite.
How to operate the control panel. You're learning all of that through this.
You're learning how it
practice.
Works by practicing.
Basically, your 5-minute practice should be like kind of a playtime.
Yes.
Keep a journal. So when you're done with your practice, keep it light. You might write down, I saw
David dancing.
It was magical on the wall. It's like a holographic projection.
Yes. Awesome.
If you do, that's really weird.
But let us know anyway.
Let us know.
My psychic ego would love to hear if somebody saw me dancing in their meditation.
He even said he had a psychic ego. You have like a human.
I have many egos.
Yeah. So
don't we all?
For example, it's all you. Okay. It's all about you. So let's say you're working on your senses of sight that day. So let's say that day you're working on your sense of sight. And that's going to consist of maybe, I'm just going to stare at the wall for a full minute and just let my eyes kind of fuzz out and stare at the wall.
So then we're having issues with the boogie juice.
So, wow, that sounded weird. So you're going to write down in your journal, I saw...
David dancing.
Like you saw, maybe you saw like a wispy green light go across the wall. You're going to go, oh, I saw a wispy green light, and the shape looked like a train or a Lamborghini. Then you would close your eyes and work on your inner sight, your inner vision, your inner clairvoyance, and be like, okay, all I saw was a black screen today. Write it down.
We're just using sight as an example. You could do this with all of your senses, and you should.
Yeah, do this with all your senses. I'm just kind of showing you.
I'm listening, and I'm hearing David dancing. Anyway, go ahead. I hear dead people.
The vision, let me finish the vision part, because David, so you might keep doing this thing with the black screen inside your head, and then one day you might see a purple light all of a sudden appear on this black screen.
Or an alien face.
That's right. It's very common to start to see kind of half faces, like it's like this green screen.
Almost like faces popping out of your screen.
Don't let that freak you out. It's just
a thing.
Instrument.
What you're doing is you're basically programming and setting the intention with your mind, hey, I want to expand on these gifts.
So it's building basically a green screen foundation. So do it with all your senses. Do an outside and then do an inside. So
outside vision, inside vision.
Outside vision, inside
outside
vision.
Sound.
Inside sound. So it's like open.
By outside, we mean outside of your head. Right. So the actual vision, the actual sound.
And the inside.
The actual feeling of your body, etc. And then the inside, what's inside of your head.
Trick to work on, obviously a trick to work on the inside is to close your eyes, but to work on the inside sound, you just plug your ears with your fingers and you will hear a little buzzing.
Everybody do it now.
Well, then they can't hear us. What you will hear is like a crackling sound. That's the sound.
Crackling, buzzing, humming.
That's the is the electricity of your own body.
You're hearing the electrical pulses within your own body.
It's pretty cool. So that can act like a green screen for sound. This really simple practice works for if you just want to open your gifts, develop them and expand them, or if suddenly you've been blasted wide open, life circumstance like a trauma, or...
It brings it back on your level. You're the one in control by programming it.
This is how you learn to control it. Know that everybody wants to hear this magical, oh, you do this practice and you go see a guru on the top of a hill in Tibet.
Take these drugs and you're going to be open.
No, it's simple. If you buy this crystal and you stick it on your forehead, it'll totally bring your gifts into control.
I'm so open.
And then you'll be magical.
Wow, magical. Available for $9.99.
Actually, yeah, they're $10.
Oh.
You must
Who
be
knew?
psychic. See, it worked.
For the selenite unicorn fight.
I challenge you to a selenite unicorn duel.
Wait, unicorns don't kill each other?
The thing is, the actual process of getting your gifts under your control is much more simple than doing... Yes, Snapchat filter selenite. Just simply practice. Sit with yourself for 5 minutes to 15 minutes, whatever. Increase it as you like. And write down what you see and sense and feel. Journal, and eventually what you're going to see is patterns emerging, symbols emerging that work for you.
You're going to learn how you receive and process information.
Remember, it's patience. You've got to sit and
keep
sit
it simple.
and sit and keep it simple and let yourself unfold and develop at your own pace and keep working at it like anything else.
Practice with porpoise. We had to have a pun this morning.
We didn't have a pun yet? Okay.
Didn't yet.
Pun. Okay, so angel light is perfect.
Stone.
Angel light. It's known to kind of gently open you up and help you ease communication and bridge that gap.
Angel light helps you connect with your inner porpoise.
Yes, your inner porpoises, your inner angel porpoises, angel dolphins. It also promotes.
Sometimes easily amused.
It is also promotes friendship, peace, and love. So
it's a great stone for helping you to expand your gifts.
It's all in all a groovy.
We are off to our day.
Yes. It's going to be a great day.
Yes, fantastic day. So prepare for the chicken. If you're watching on Snapchat, go check it out on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, go check it out on Snapchat. You saw it there first. Also, be sure to subscribe, like, share some more, and comment. What you like the most, what you want to see next. Keep those topics coming. We love shirts, we love coffee mugs. If you're drawn to that, that's fantastic. Aside from that... That's right, I'm a hussy alert.
Soliciting.
Absolutely. So I wear a medium shirt. Heather takes a medium coffee mug. Medium coffee mug? Okay, so we are off to our day. Once again, thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for watching. Invited Pinocchio.
No, but it's like Pinocchio opposite. If you tell the truth, like if you drop truth bombs, will selenite grow out of your nose?
Ooh, good question.
Have a wonderful, beautiful, amazing day.
Make it your most authentic unicorn porpoise Pinocchio.
Yeah, unicorn porpoise Pinocchio.
That's right.